Hello everybody. So today we are on to lesson 44. Wow, I feel like we have gone through 44 lessons so quickly. I feel even just in this process of sharing, we really are collapsing time. So thank you all of you for being present with me today and every day. But today's lesson is God is the light in which I see. So I'll read here what Jesus has for us today. Today we are continuing with the idea from yesterday, which is God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. Adding another dimension to it. You cannot see in darkness, and you cannot make light. You can make darkness and then think you see in it, but light reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. Creation and darkness cannot coexist, but life and life must go together, being but different aspects of creation. So right off the bat, Jesus is reminding us that light, seeing through the eyes of light, knowing that we are light, welcoming the light, is life. They are simultaneous. They are one and the same. But that darkness is not included in this light. Although at times we can believe that we are in the darkness and that this world of darkness is our reality and thus see through darkness, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a part of creation, right? It is the absence of creation. And that's what we are getting to see here, that creation, light, and life are the same. Right? They're synonymous with one another. That was the word. Synonymous. They are the same. It says, in order to see, one must recognize that light is within. Light is within, not without. You do not seek outside of yourself. Rather, you do not see outside of yourself. Nor is the equipment for seeing outside you. An essential part of this equipment is the light that makes seeing possible. It is with you always, making vision possible in every circumstance. So what Jesus is saying here again is that light cannot be separate from vision. That in order for us to see anything at all, this light or the darkness, that light must be the first. And so because light is the first, that means that we can always see through vision with any circumstance, any experience, any situation, any person, because light is first. Light is one. Light is always there. So that even though we may travel from the light to the darkness on occasion, doesn't mean that the light is gone. It just means that you've forgotten that the light is all there is. And so we can always call upon it at any time of need. It's not outside. It is inside. It is present within us always and never changes. Today we are going to attempt to reach the light. Period. And even before I move forward, the way I like to see this is the mind of man, the ball of darkness, right? And behind this ball of darkness, which is our thoughts, beliefs, our ideas, our opinions, our goals, our judgments, and so forth, beyond it is the light, this ball of light. And what we're doing is we're allowing ourselves to reach past the thought system of darkness of man to the light. And once we reach the light, it illuminates the mind and encapsulates the mind and the being and this world with the light that is. But we must reach the light in order for this ignition to happen. So today we are going to attempt to reach that light. For that purpose, we will use a form of practice which has been suggested once before and which we will utilize increasingly. It is a particularly difficult form for the undisciplined mind because it represents a major goal of mind training. It embodies precisely what the untrained mind lacks. Yet the training must be accomplished if you are to see. Our one function and goal is to see, and the way to get there is mind training. So today we are going to apply it very specifically. He says, have at least 3 practice periods today, each lasting 3 to 5 minutes. A longer time is highly recommended, but only if you find the time merely slipping by with little or no sense of strain. So if this is easy for us, we can extend the practice period pretty much for however long we need, but it's only if it's easy and not a strain. The form of exercise we will use today is the most natural and easy one in the world for the trained mind, just as it seems to be the most unnatural and difficult for the untrained mind. Your mind is no longer wholly untrained. You are quite ready to learn the form of exercise we will use today, but you may find that you will encounter strong resistance. So he's telling us ahead of time so we don't go along with that resistance. So we don't think that resistance means anything. So we don't think that because it's a little bit difficult or troublesome that actually means anything. Keep persevering forward, because as we continue to apply and practice the mind training, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. And he says, the reason is very simple. While you practice in this form, you leave behind everything that you now believe and all the thoughts which you have made up. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell. Perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. So really what we're doing today with the mind training is allowing us to rise into heaven and to leave hell. And yet the ego, the way in which it perceives it, is that you're losing yourself and that you are going to descend into hell. Right? So we're learning not to listen to what the ego tempts us with or what it tells us, because it's not true. Our only goal here is perfect happiness and freedom. And so when we practice this mind training, we literally are releasing ourselves and all the world from this hell that we are in, because hell is here on earth already. We need to accept this new state of the perfect peace that resides within us in order for heaven to be replicated here. So this is a release today. This is a release from hell. Don't listen to the ego that tells you otherwise. If you can stand aside from the ego ever so little, you will have no difficulty in recognizing that its opposition and fears are meaningless. They are meaningless. You might find it helpful to remind yourself from time to time that to reach the light is to escape from the darkness, whatever you may believe to the contrary. God is the light in which you see. You are attempting to reach him. So again, the light and the darkness currently is in our mind, but only because we believe that the darkness is real. So once we release our beliefs from this idea of darkness and ego and fear, is when we reside in this place of light, of happiness, which is where God resides and which is where we are. So we are not losing anything. We are gaining everything. And this is what today's lesson reminds us of. So to continue, it says, begin the practice period by repeating today's idea with your eyes open and close them slowly, repeating the idea several times more. Then try to sink into your mind, letting go every kind of interference and intrusion by quietly sinking past them. And this happens naturally. You don't have to physically try. Just be open and willing to let it happen. Your mind cannot be stopped in this unless you choose to stop it. It is merely taking its natural course, and it's very natural. That's why I'm just saying, just let it happen. Try to observe your passing thoughts without involvement and slip quietly by them. While no particular form of approach is advocated, what is needful is a sense of the importance of what you are doing, its inestimable value to you, an awareness that you are attempting something very holy. Salvation is your happiest accomplishment. It is also the only one that has any meaning, because it is the only one that has any use to you at all. So again, this light is our salvation. So you're reaching there today. If resistance rises in any form, pause long enough to repeat today's idea, keeping your eyes closed unless you are aware of fear. In that case, you will probably find it more reassuring to open your eyes briefly. Try, however, to return to the exercises as soon as possible. So today, all he is wanting us to do is let ourselves be carried to the light. And the way in which we do that is by closing our eyes and being willing to dive inward. And by doing so, we will have this experience that the light is in us, and this light then will illuminate our mind to release us from all darkness and suffering completely. If you are doing the exercises correctly, you should experience some sense of relaxation and even a feeling that you are approaching, if not actually entering, into the light. Try to think of light, formless and without limit, as you pass by the thoughts of this world. And do not forget that they cannot hold you to the world unless you give them power to do so. So we are releasing our belief in darkness and of this world to the light and the unlimited nature that resides within us. So in closing, throughout the day, repeat the idea often with eyes open or closed as seems better to you at the time. Do not forget. Above all, be determined not to forget today. So today we are remembering. We are awakening to the light that is within us, because this light is God. God is the light in which I see. So let yourself repeat this thought throughout the day continually, and give yourself time and permission to turn inward and let yourself have that feeling of relaxation and happiness and light, so that we remember the truth about ourselves. So in that being said, I love you all. Have a beautiful day. God is the light in which I see. Bye.